share with you. We're going to start, of course, with the final mincha of 5782. So mincha before the holiday is on page 431 and will be led by Lee. Page 431.
Ashrei yoshvei veitecha od Yehallalucha selah.
Ashrei yoshvei veitecha od Yehallalucha selah.
Tehillah Adonai Yadaber Pi Vayavarei Kol Basar Shem Kacho Le'olam Va'ed V'anachnu Nevarech Ya Me'ata V'ad Olam. Hallelujah.
Please rise for Chatzi Kaddish, page 432.
Yitgadal V'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yalma Divrach Yirutei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chayechon Uv'yomechon Uv'chaydachol B'heit Yisroel Bahagala Uvizmahan Kariv V'yimaru. Amen. Yeheshmei Rabba Mivorach Le'olam E'omei Maya Yitbarak V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yithaleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha Rechu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tush V'chata V'nehemata Damiran V'yalma V'yimaru. Amen.
We join together for the first blessings of the Amida on page 433.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ufoked Sarah.
Amen.
Adagi Borli Olam Adonai. Mechaye Metim Atarav Lahoshia. Mechal Kel Chaim Becheset. Mechaye Betim Brachabim Rabim. Zomek Noflim V'Rofei Cholim. Umatir Asurim. Umkayem Munatoli Shenei Afar. Mi chamocha ba'al givurot umido melach. Melech me'mirum chayei matzmiach Yeshua. V'nemanatah chayot meitim. Baruch atah Adonai. Mechayei hametim. Tekadesh et shemcha bi'olom k'shem shemakti shimoto b'shmei marom. Kakadu v'yadivyecha v'karaze el ze v'yamar.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech ha'aretz kivodo.
Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Adonai Tzvaot, Melech ha'aretz kivodo. Limatam Baruch Yomeru.
Baruch kivod Adonai mimakomo.
Baruch Kivod Adonai Mimkomo. Udvrei Kachka Katuv Lemor.
Yimlach Adonai l'olam l'hayach Tzion, l'dor v'dor, hallelujah.
Yimloch Adonai Li'olam Elohai Tzion. L'dor v'dor, hallelujah. L'dor v'dor Nadgid Gad Lecha. Ulenetzach Nitzachim. Kjut Kachka Nakdish. V'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush Li'olam va'ed. Ki el-melech gadol v'kadosh atah. Baruch atah Adonai. Ha'el ha'kadosh.
Continue silently. you haven't finished davening, please continue. We conclude this portion of the service with Kaddish Shalem on page 441. Please sit or stand as is your custom.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'ydakol beit Yisrael. V'gala uvizman kariv v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivorach. Le'olam el maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha. Rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Dabiran bi'alma v'yimaru.
Amen.
Tikabas lotahon votahon. The kol yishal helkahon avahon diva shemaya v'yimaru. Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya v'chayam aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen.
Aleinu, page 442.
Aleinu lishabeach ladon hakol latet gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu kigoye haratzot v'lo samanu kemishbechot hadama shelo sam helkenu kahem v'goralenu kechal hamona Anach Purim Mishtachal Lifnei Melech Malkei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
My teacher's teachers. It might be apocryphal. It might be true. I don't know, but it's a story that illustrates the point I want to make. So there's a story of some young rabbinical students getting ready for mincha at the seminary, and they're standing around with Rabbi Lieberman, who's one of the sort of old school of the old school. And so Rabbi Lieberman and 8 of his students are standing waiting for a 10th person to make their minyan. And one person says to him in Yiddish, because this is the old days, but I don't know how to say this in Yiddish. One person says to him in Yiddish, Rabbi, should we go upstairs and get Rabbi Heschel, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel? Should we go upstairs and get Rabbi Heschel to be our 10th? And Lieberman says, again in Yiddish, no. That rabbi doesn't believe in davening. That rabbi just does prayer. As if to say that Heschel, who we all now think of as a very old school and very traditional and very pious person, right? As if to say Heschel had this hippy-dippy way of praying, and he wasn't doing the davening right, and we don't need him for our minyan. I tell you this story as a counterexample to what we're doing, because what we're doing together tonight is both davening and prayer, which is to say we are using the traditional liturgy and the traditional nusach to connect ourselves, right? That's like the davening part. And we are also praying with our hearts. And we are sharing what is in our hearts for the new year. And that's the prayer. And so whether you know the words or not, whether you're singing along in Hebrew or reading along in English, whether you have a gorgeous voice or a not so gorgeous voice, whether you're online, and I know there's some trouble online, but whether you're online or in person, we're all here together to do the davening and the prayer, and everybody counts in this minyan, and I'm really, really happy to have you here. So let's start the new year with Baruch Hu on page 5. Please do sing along with me. Please rise for Baruch Hu. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach Hamevorach leolam vaed. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach leolam vaed. Please be seated. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro ma'ariv aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim. Page 6. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta. Ve'avatecha al tasir mimenu li'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol meodecha, v'hayu Hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha havaderech uv'shochtecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam liot al yadecha V'ayu l'totafot b'neinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvish arecha. Vayomer Adonai Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem v'asu lahem tzitzit al kanfei bigdeihem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf patil techelet ve'yalachem letzitzit uritem otos chartem b'kol mitzvot Adonai ve'asitem otam ve'lo taturu Acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem asher atem zonim achareihem leman tizkiru v'asitem b'kol mitzvotai v'tem kiroshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Umalchuto beratzon kiblu alehem Moshe u'Miriam u'bnei Yisrael lecha anu shira v'simcha rabba v'amru kulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh norati lot osefela malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokeyam lifnei Moshe Zeli anu v'amru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov ugelo mi'ad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Please join me in reading the English on page 9. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully and to awaken again to life, our sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us. You are the sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Assure our going and coming for life and peace now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us and over all the people of Israel and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 10. Tik'u b'chodesh shofar, b'kesef leyom chagenu. Sound the shofar on our feast day on the new moon. Ki chok liYisrael hu, because it is a holiday of Israel, mishpat leElohei Yaakov, a decree of the God of Jacob. Please rise for Chatzi Kaddish on page 10. Yitkadav, yitkadash, shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach irutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv, v'yimeru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevorach, le'olam u'me'amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha brichu, le'ela, le'ela, mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram bi'alma, v'yimeru amen. We continue with the silent Amida, page 11, or whatever words are in your heart. Michamocha v'rachamim zocher tzurav l'chaim v'rachamim. Uvechen temach teron Elohenu al kol ma'asecha. Mesefer Chaim v'racha v'shalom u'farnasa tova nizacher v'nikatev lefanecha anachnu v'chol amcha Beit Yisrael lechaim tovim uleshalom Baruch atah Adonai oseh hashalom. Please join me for Kaddish Shalem on page 19. Yitgadal v'yikadash merabah Yamad yivracher tevem lech malchutei b'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayedechu Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach le'olam lo me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yit'adar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal shmei dekudasha b'rechu le'ela mikol berchata v'shirata Tushbachata v'nachemata da'amiram v'yalama v'yimaru. Amen. Titgabal tzloton uvauton nechol Yisrael kodam avohon divishmaya v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. Oh, say shalom miromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. Please be seated. Just a few words I wanted to share with you tonight because I know we all have some lovely dinner to get home to, but I also wanted to start by sharing with you something that I found really moving and really put me in the right state of mind for the new year. Yesterday, a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar, fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. Joni Mitchell sits in a paisley wing-backed armchair that could better be described as a throne. She wears a plum-colored beret, tinted sunglasses, a flowing purple dress, and her brilliant white hair spills over her shoulders. Her face is full of a smile, and she sings into a glittering golden mic and bounces and sways joyfully side to side as she improvises drums on the arms of her regal seat. The seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. Everyone on stage is weeping. Folk legends Brandi Carlile, Allison Russell, Marcus Mumford, and many more are moved to tears by the sight of this living treasure performing for the first time in 7 years. In 2015, Joni Mitchell suffered a brain aneurysm that had the musical community wondering if she was physically capable of performing ever again. In July, she answered those questions with her surprise appearance at the Newport Folk Festival. If you haven't watched it, you must go home and watch the recording of her performance on YouTube. And although this is not a Jewish song per se, I know that many of you know and love this song from your shirim sessions at Jewish summer camps. It also contains a very Jewish message, because as Jews, we often find ourselves lovingly looking toward the past. In fact, we even have an official name for this Jewish brand of reminiscence. It's called Yeridat Hadorot, the decline of the generations. Yeridat Hadorot is the theological concept that the generation who wandered in the desert was the most spiritually perfect group of Jews who ever existed. And every generation since then has been striving to achieve the spiritual heights they accomplished, and every generation has fallen short. Don't worry, There are just as many texts that say the desert generation was the worst one, and every generation since then has come one step closer. We're Jews, we can believe both of these things at the same time. Whichever we believe at any given moment, it is true that we are often nostalgic for our past. As Walter Sobchak says, 5,000 years of beautiful tradition from Moses to Sandy Koufax. We have all of this to appreciate. Whether it's a Jewish athlete who made a big play, or a particular melody, or the smells of our parents' cooking, there is something powerful that connects us and compels us to carry on the Jewish traditions our ancestors began before us. As contemporary Jews, our task is to bring those memories and those moments with us on the carousel of time, so that the religion and culture and tradition that we hold dear will be passed on to those who come next. Tomorrow morning, I'll speak in more depth about the words Chadesh Yamenu Kikedem, renew us as in days of old. This phrase, which we say every time we return the Torah to the Ark, is another way in which we express our love of the past and our commitment to the future. It is yet another Jewish oxymoron. We want to be renewed, and we want the days of old. Of course, it's both. In the irony of ironies, many of the things that we see as traditional and familiar were once brand new and perhaps even scary. It all started with Avraham Avinu when he left his homeland for the promised land of Canaan, and we have been exploring new adventures ever since. For example, this congregation, if I have my history right, first came to Framingham under the leadership of another Abraham Schumann, in 1885. In the intervening 137 years, the congregation has transitioned from Orthodox to conservative, relocated from Coolidge Street to Pamela Road, and you even hired a female rabbi. We look back on the groundbreaking of this building with nostalgia and with warm, comforting feelings. But when our parents and our grandparents began here, it was new and different and perhaps even frightening. Similarly, a lot of the music and the liturgy that we know as traditional and familiar was once very controversial. Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach turned the Jewish world absolutely upside down and made a lot of enemies in the 60s and 70s when he wrote fresh and peppy melodies for Kabbalat Shabbat. Now, those are the melodies that most of us know and love and sing every week. And we continue in the tradition of revolution every time we introduce a new song or a new melody. Trying new things is part of our commitment as Jews. That's what we mean when we say, Chadesh Yamenu Kikedem. Give us the strength to try new things as we have done before. Circle Game offers us one powerful example of how to live according to this paradoxical prayer. We are nostalgic for the days when we saw the world with youthful optimism and seized each day with a burst of energy. Perhaps we yearn for the innocence of youth or the simplicity of years gone by. But we don't really want to go back to the beginning, before we had all of these experiences that made us who we are. And we couldn't go back even if we wanted to. That's not how it works. It's our responsibility to pair this excitement and energy that we had at the start with all the wisdom and insight we have gained and charge forward into a bright future for us, for our families, and for our communities. The words of Circle Game tell us that we can bring these memories along with us, but that we cannot live in the past. Joni Mitchell's performance of this classic further shows us how to ride a carousel gracefully. Truly, you have to watch it if you haven't. She returns to the site of her debut, all the more powerful because of the years of wisdom and the beautiful career she has built. She is renewed, singing on the stage where she began in the days of old. In the 55 years since her debut on this very stage, her voice has dropped several octaves. Her performance is beautifully imperfect. Her voice cracks. She forgets a word or two, but these moments only add to the beauty of hearing this legend perform. At one point in the song, she stumbles over the lyrics, but she smiles and shrugs and laughs. Then she continues, and the audience sings along with her. She has lived enough life to accept the mistakes she makes. Her joyful epiphany is that she is still the 23-year-old waif full of excitement, and she is also a 78-year-old queen of a musical genre, and she is every version of herself that she has been in the intervening years. She can't go back to catch her first dragonfly, but she has brought that memory and meaning with her as she has grown into a matriarch of folk music. In the last verse, the boy's dreams have lost their grandeur coming true, and this is the only part of the song that I decidedly do not wish upon us. Temple Beth Shalom is the most beautiful, warm, close-knit, and vibrant community. We have so many strengths. I see the brightest future for us. I know over the next few days we will see children here with their parents, with their grandparents, their aunts and uncles, and even a few lucky great-grandparents. I will see friends joyfully greet each other and wish for a sweet new year. I love the enthusiasm that so many people in our congregation have for reading Torah, for leading services, for singing along. Tomorrow you will experience the joy of several members who have practiced some new melodies, to support Rabbi Strick and myself in sharing new music with you. I love that camaraderie. I love the friendship of this community. All of us have experienced the kindness of the caring volunteers who keep tabs on all of us and make sure we have the support we need. We cherish all of these strengths, and we dream of bringing even more kindness, community, and Jewish life to even more friends and neighbors, some of whom have maybe not even met us yet. Those are grand dreams, and I hope they will not lose their grandeur when they come true. Our liturgical cycle brings us closer and closer to these dreams every year. So today on Rosh Hashanah, we seek renewal, and we accomplish that by reflecting on our past. Next Sunday, I hope you'll join me in the ritual of Tashlich, when we wash away the parts of the year we want to leave behind. Then on Yom Kippur, we will dress in fresh white clothing while reflecting and repenting over our past actions. And finally, on Simchat Torah, we will literally roll back our sacred text so we can begin reading it again. All of these rituals remind us that we can only move forward by looking back. Truly, we go around and around. We are captive on the carousels of time. We can't return. We can only look behind from where we came and go around and around and around in the circle game. May we continue to joyfully go around and around and around in a sweet new year. Shana Tova. Let us bring ourselves a little closer to that new year with some concluding prayers. We turn to page 25. Please rise for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamona, ve'anachnu korim, u'mishachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Hakatu v'tortecha Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu hi Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Please be seated, except those of you joining me for Kaddish, page 26. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit'aleh v'yit'alal shmei dekudasha b'rechu. Le'ela le'ela mikol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata damirami alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah mirshmaya. V'chaim alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, alenu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Both services start at 9. There was a misprint on the tickets, but Hayom is also at 9. So traditional service at 9, Hayom at 9, kids service at 10:30. All the links came to your inbox on Thursday. They also came to your inbox about an hour and a half ago, thanks to the wonders of computers. So please join us. And if you get a chance as you're walking out to take a look at the monitor in the lobby to see some of our great photographs from this past year and some of our great programs coming up from this year, I invite you to take a look and to find somebody who has made one of these programs happen or who is making these high holidays happen, and just tell them thank you. Start your year with a little bit of gratitude. We will conclude our service with the Psalm for Elul. It's on page 27 in the bold or in the red transliteration. Achat shalti me'et Adonai otavakesh. Achat shalti me'et Adonai otavakesh. Shivti bevet Adonai kol yemei chayai lachazot benoam Adonai ulvaker behechalo lachazot benoam Adonai ulvaker behechalo. Shana Tova.